You ever feel like your calendar needs a calendar just to make sense of itself? I used to think the only way to win the day was to beat the sun. Wake up at 5 a.m., they said. Join the 5 a.m. club, they said. And I tried it for about 3 days. Then I overslept, spilled coffee on my only clean shirt, and missed a Zoom meeting where I was the host. Not exactly the stuff of legends. But here's the plot twist. I figured out how to reclaim 10 hours a week without waking up at an hour that should frankly be illegal. And no, I'm not here to sell you a productivity planner made of bamboo. I'm just a 40-something guy who's been through the ringer of hustle culture and came out the other side with a little more wisdom. And a lot more sleep. Let's start with the myth of productivity being equal to being busy. If being busy made you productive, then Twitter arguments and endless Slack messages would be the secrets to success. But let's be honest, they're mostly distractions dressed up in work clothes. I had to unlearn the idea that every minute of my day needed to be filled. In fact, the first step in my self-improvement journey was realizing that I didn't have a time problem. I had a focus problem. So instead of chasing the latest time-blocking trend, I asked myself, what am I doing that doesn't actually need to be done? Turns out, a lot. The stop doing list changed everything. We all have to-do lists, color-coded, synchronized with 3 apps, maybe even scented, if you're fancy like that. But what about a stop-doing list? See, we treat our schedules like closets. Just keep stuffing things in until it bursts. Meetings, calls, check-ins, check-outs, double-booked Zooms that could have been emails that should have been nothing. So one day, I did something wild. I sat down with my calendar and asked a brutally honest question. What's stealing my time without giving anything back? Boom. 3 hours a week vanished when I bailed on meetings that didn't need me, or anyone, really. If your presence doesn't change the outcome, do you really need to be there? Then I tackled email. I used to check it like it was a Vegas slot machine. Maybe this time, there's something important. Maybe this time, someone appreciates me. Nope. Just another discount from a store I don't remember shopping at. So I switched to checking it twice a day, mid-morning and late afternoon. That single change saved me 2 hours a week and gave me back a tiny piece of my sanity. Just those 2 moves. 5 hours. No productivity hacks. Number 5, AM alarms. Just ruthless clarity. And here's the thing. That's self-discipline. But it's not the kind that's trending. It's not grinding till your eyes bleed or pushing through when you're fried. It's the courage to say, this doesn't deserve my time anymore. It's the kind of discipline that looks lazy from the outside, but feels peaceful on the inside. And that, my friend, is where the real magic begins. I started protecting my energy like it was money in the bank. Time management isn't just about organizing hours. It's about managing yourself. And energy is your currency. I noticed I was scheduling important tasks when my brain was basically running on dial-up. You know that 3 p.m. slump when even coffee gives up on you? Yeah. That's not the time to write your next big idea or solve complex problems. So I flipped the script. I stopped putting low-energy tasks in high-energy slots. Now I handle deep work when my mind is fresh and save emails, laundry, and doom scrolling for the zombie hours. That one switch? Easily another 3 hours a week reclaimed. Welcome to the power of emotional intelligence. Here's where a little stoicism helped me chill the heck out. I'll admit I used to get worked up over every little interruption. The Amazon delivery guy rings the doorbell like he's trying to break in. Ruins my flow. One offhand comment in a meeting. I'm spiraling for an hour. Then I started reading about the daily Stoic. That ancient Roman wisdom hit me like a cold shower. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Translation? Calm down, dude. Once I stopped reacting to everything like it was a personal insult, I realized how much time I was losing to stress. The Stoics weren't trying to be robots. They were just reminding us that peace saves time. Because emotional overreactions, major time wasters. I ditched the multitasking badge of honor. You know how people brag about multitasking? It's like saying, I'm great at doing 5 things poorly at once. I used to bounce between tabs like a caffeinated squirrel, check email, write a paragraph, answer a text, open a new tab to Google how to focus, and then wonder why nothing ever got done. Here's the truth. Multitasking is just a way to mess up several things at the same time. Now I work in focus sprints. I give one task my full attention for 25 to 30 minutes, then take a short break. It's the old Pomodoro trick, but the results are very real. That change? Another 2 to 3 hours saved a week. And the stuff I do finish, way better quality. That's personal development right there. I simplified everything and gained time in return. Minimalist living isn't just about tossing out old t-shirts and pretending you don't miss them. It's deeper than that. It's about mental clarity, giving your brain fewer things to trip over on its way to a good idea. I started with my workspace. It used to look like a productivity Pinterest board collided with a tech expo. Apps, sticky notes, browser tabs that had tabs inside of tabs. I had 3 different to-do list apps, and guess what? None of them got anything done. So I stripped it all back. Fewer tools, fewer tabs, fewer decisions. Suddenly, my brain wasn't sprinting an obstacle course just to write a decent sentence. And that visual clutter, gone. It's wild how your mind stops buzzing when your desk isn't screaming for attention like a toddler with a drum set. Then I looked at my schedule. Yep, went full Marie Kondo on that thing. If a task didn't spark results, or at least a sliver of joy, it got cut. Weekly sync calls that had no clear purpose, canceled. Random errands that could wait till the weekend, batched. Saying yes to every invitation like I'm a one-man social committee, retired from that job. The result? I got back another hour a week. But more importantly, I got back mental bandwidth, the space to think clearly, make better choices, and feel a little less like a squirrel on espresso. Minimalism, it turns out, isn't about having less. It's about needing less to do more. And with that space came something unexpected. Personal growth. The quiet kind that sneaks up on you when your mind finally has room to breathe. I redefined what productive actually means. Look, if your goal is to become a cyborg who runs purely on checklists and kale smoothies, hey, no judgment. That used to be me. I had the meal prep containers, the time tracking app, and the guilt that came with taking a nap. But somewhere along the line, I realized productivity isn't about squeezing every second dry. It's not about turning yourself into a machine. It's about using your time on what actually matters to you. And here's the kicker. Sometimes, what matters is doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, I said it. I started building in margin, white space in my day, space to breathe, reflect, wander, maybe stare at a wall like a wise monk, or take a walk with no podcast, no phone, no plan. Not because I'm lazy, because that's where the real work happens. See, we treat stillness like it's the enemy of progress. But the truth is, it's the soil where real ideas grow. That brilliant insight, that creative spark, that solution to the thing you've been stressing about for 3 weeks, it doesn't show up when you're multitasking through lunch. It shows up when you're quiet long enough to hear yourself think. I had to unlearn the lie that rest is a reward for productivity. Rest is productivity. It's the reset button, the recharge station, the secret weapon no one talks about in hustle culture because it doesn't come with a flashy timer or a motivational quote in bold font. So now I honor the white space. I defend it like my life depends on it, because in some ways, kinda does. Redefining productivity gave me back not just hours, but peace. And let me tell you, peace is wildly underrated. If you take one thing away from this, reclaiming time isn't about finding some magic system or waking up at some ungodly hour. It's about aligning your time with your values. Want to know how to be disciplined? Start by being honest with yourself about what you actually want and what you're doing instead. Want to know how to be productive? Focus on less, not more. Want better time management? Stop outsourcing your calendar to the expectations of other people. And if you're wondering how to build a growth mindset, start with this belief. Your time is worth protecting. Let me leave you with this. You don't need a cape, a cold plunge, or a 5 a.m. alarm to turn your life around. All you need is a little awareness, a few boundaries, and the courage to stop doing what's not working. Self-improvement isn't about becoming a superhero. It's about becoming someone who feels like themselves again. So here's to reclaiming your time, to owning your focus, and to living a life where the hours you spend actually feel like yours. See you next time on Better Me.